Howdy folks, we all know about the prominent fishing locations, you know, the Sacramento Delta, Lake Shasta, Eagle Lake, San Francisco Bay, stuff like that. But on this segment of This Week in Fishing, I want to share with you some of the smaller, off the beaten path locations where you can go, get out, have some fun, catch some fish, enjoy maybe a camping trip, and also maybe throw in some hiking or, motor biking or whatever. So let's kick off this segment with a discussion of Sugar Pine Reservoir. Sugar Pine is located in Tahoe National Forest. It's a place I've been fishing for years. The lake first filled in 1982. It's east of Forest Hill, California, and the lake is a water supply source for Forest Hill. When at full capacity, the lake features 165 surface acres. It has a nice boat ramp. It has a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, and several campgrounds dot the surrounding area. In terms of fishing, it's heavily planted with rainbow trout in the spring, and there is some planting that takes place in the fall as well. There's a sleeper brown trout population in the lake. I've been fishing the lake for 20 plus years. I've never caught a brown there. A young man fishing it last winter caught a 12-pound brown, an absolute monster that I've seen pictures of. My buddy Olin Bycroft several years ago, he was fishing off the bank and he caught a 5 or 6-pound brown on an inflated worm. In terms of trout tactics, all your standard trolling stuff works, cripple lures, cast masters, threaded worms, grubs, anything you're going to go out and catch some, pan size or better rainbow trout on, that's going to work for you. From the bank in the springtime when the water's still cold, all your standard stuff, power bait, inflated worms, salmon eggs, flies and bubbles, casting a cast master, all that stuff can pay off. The water is extremely clear most of the time, and because of that 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, it's a great place for kayakers, belly boaters, float tubers, I should say. Not to say that you couldn't bring a big boat there. You could definitely go up there with your big aluminum trout sled, but it's a small lake. 10-mile-an-hour speed limit makes it ideal for small boaters. There's a trail that goes all the way around the lake. I believe the trail's about 3.5 miles long. Lots of fishing access around that trail. Now, moving on beyond trout, the lake has a sleeper population of Florida strain largemouths, and for a lake that sits at 3,600 feet, that is very rare. I've never caught a really big one, but I've seen them swimming there. Actually, I've had them chase my trout up when I'm bank fishing. I've seen those fish well in excess of 10 pounds. So they're there, very little pressure on the bass population. When I've bass fished it, I've caught a lot of small largemouth, say up to 13, 14 inches, as well as plenty of smallmouths. To catch the smaller ones, I was using standard plastics, Senko's plastic worms, the usual fare. I suspect if you want to catch one of those big giant largemouths, your trout pattern swim baits is going to be the way to go. There's channel cats in the lake. Nobody really targets those. And there is a population of green sunfish, although they seem to be on the small side, about so big. I've caught a lot of them. I've never caught a big one, but they are a lot of fun on a fly rod. In the surrounding area, there's lots of opportunity to hike, and there's some extensive motorcycle trails, dirt bike trails, where you can run quads, dirt bikes, stuff like that. So, in a nutshell, if you've never been to Sugar Pine Reservoir up in the Tahoe National Forest, I think you should pay it a visit. You're going to have a great time. It's a beautiful area. The fishing's good, especially in the spring and fall. In the wintertime, if we have a good snowpack, there's snowmobiling, there's snowshoeing, all kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, it's just an area where you can get out, enjoy nature, catch a few fish, and have a good time. So if you haven't visited Sugar Pine Reservoir, check it out online, figure out how to get there, maybe spend a weekend or an overnight trip there, do a little bit of camping. Anyway, that's our destination for this week. Thanks a lot, folks.